Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is part 3 of What If Asta Found Excalibur / didn't get his grimoire. So from where we left off, from Asta destroying Seke's shield, the haha guy, and smacking him in the face with the flat end of the sword. We get ready. We already know Yuno wipes the floor with his opponent. There's no point in talking about it. So, Yuno, of course, gets to the Golden Dawn, but we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Asta he's so excited. He knows he's not going to be able to get on the most prestigious of the Magic Knight squad, but he's hoping for the Praying Mantis or the Black Bulls. But nobody raises their hand, not even Captain Yami. Even Captain Yami thinks this is a little too weird even for him. All the Magic Knights pretty much tell him that you're amazing, your power was neat, but there's nothing that you really offer to the table. Yes, your sword is cool, but we're not that interested. So, Asta, not being part of any Magic Knight squad, goes to talk to Yuno about what should he do. Yuno, of course, tells him to go home, but Asta goes, "No, I'm just gonna camp outside of the city." As Asta is camping outside of the city, he hears a girl scream, and he sees what looks like a massive water ball form in the sky. Asta, trying to look around to see what, he runs over to that area and can't see what it is, but he does see a girl stuck in the water. He sees that there's an old building nearby that he can climb on. Thinking fast, Asta runs over and climbs on top of the building. Because, Asta, being the Chad that he is, jumps up and is able to slice the water ball in half. With Noel, with him chopping the water ball in half. Noel being saved by Asta. After saving Noel, she, of course, he's not part of the Black Bull, so she's not going to be as mean to him as at first. She ain't going to be all tsundere with Asta. So as Asta has saved Noel from, drowning herself, Asta is able to befriend. I literally just said her name. Noel. As Noel, and as Asta says, your magic is so cool, and Noel, blushing, of course, says, "No, it's not. I can't even control it." Asta goes, "Well, maybe we can train together. I like training." So, as weeks go on, with Noel being a lot more friendlier to Asta, she's able to somewhat still control her magic, but not quite there yet. She doesn't have that good of control, but she is able to stabilize her magic in a shield form. Asta's sword, Excalibur, can't necessarily completely negate it, but it can slice through magic. It doesn't quite negate it. It just can cut it or deflect it. A few days go by, and of course, Magna and especially Locked is very curious about where Noelle is going off to go do her training. She of course finds Asta chilling out in the she of course sees Luck of course sees Asta and Noel training and gets super excited about this guy that she's training with. He of course runs in and tries to attack Asta. Asta just barely being able to dodge his attacks and deflect them. Luck is very excited but tells Noel that Yami needs her back at the base. Asta tells her, "See you later, I'm going to go to the local tavern to see if I can find any jobs to get money, because I'm starting to run low on supplies and cash." I think you all know where this is going. So Noel goes back to the Black Bull's hideout and saying goodbye to Asta. Asta goes back in town and sees a flyer for boar hunting, and you of course know where. Asta goes back to collect some things and bumps into Noel. I can't remember the portal guy's name. He sees Noel and Magna flying over. Noel wants to stop and tell Asta what she's doing, and Asta asks if he can come along because he has the flyer, basically the quest mission to join up with them. Joins up with Magna, and Asta and Magna pretty much hit it off from there. Noel being a little annoyed about how quickly Asta and Magna become friends, but someone ignores it. They show up to the village. Asta shows the old man the flyer and agrees to pay him we'll say 100 gold for each boar. Asta is quickly capable of killing several boars at once, and Magna's even impressed for some guy who has no magic. He of course doesn't throw the sword in front of Magna because he doesn't want to show too many people that he can do that. Yes, he did throw it at the exam, but we're going to say not very many people were paying attention. Of course, as Asta and Noel and Magna are heading back to the village of exciting boar hunting, they notice the village has been covered in fog. They know something is wrong. They go running in. Asta's sword not being able to quite negate the magic, but is able to somehow slice through the fog. Asta sees all the villagers surrounded by these several mages and several ice spikes, and sees the head dude lying on the ground. Asta, Noel, and Magna go running over to the old man. Magna, of course, gets very upset that his gambling / friend is incredibly injured and is dying. Magna, of course, attacks the head guy, and they try their best. I want to keep saying but Noel makes, of course, the water barrier. Asta and Magna, earlier in the day, Asta tells Magna his plan. He's going to sneak up behind the head guy and be able to attack him. Of course, the one dude is giving off his grand speech of how these villagers are useless, there's no point in saving them. Asta going for a charge, of course, while Magna has a barrage of his, we'll just call them we'll just call them sluggers for right now. I don't remember the name. So as he's throwing his baseball slugs at the bad guy, his baseball fireballs, he is able to pretty much deflect almost all of Magna's attack. None of the smaller dudes are really doing anything. They're just kind of standing there. Sometimes trying to take pot shots at Asta. Asta is able to sneak up on several of the henchmen and knock them out by hitting him in the head with the pommel. Then Asta and Magna both try to attack him. Asta using Excalibur, and while Magna uses his flaming baseball bat. As Asta and Magna are fighting, the dude creates a bunch of crystal shards around Noel's force field and is barely able to make it in. With her doing better training and cooperating with Asta, she's able to make a much stronger water shield and doesn't think he's going to be able to get in with Asta and Magna fighting them, even with the other dudes trying to attack her. As Asta begins to formulate a plan in his head of how to defeat him, while they were hunting boars, he knew that he could knock back Magna's fireballs. He's able to get back with Magna, and they come up with a plan to, of course, Asta sneak up behind him and attack him, while Magna throws fire at the fireball, while Asta sneaks up behind him and smacks him and tries to incapacitate him with the pommel of his sword. Magna goes, "That's a great idea. I don't think he's going to be able to sense you." Of course, Magna begins to form a massive fireball. The villain at the moment goes, "That pathetic thing ain't gonna do nothing to me." So he pretty much stands there and is ready to take the fireball blast, but doesn't know. Of course, I guess the one with just the sword ran away. But as he says that, Asta pretty much appears out of practically nowhere for him, and before he gets knocked out, he notices that the sword says Excalibur on it and is amazed. The legend of the Dark Times are real. And he, of course, pummels the dude in the back of the head, knocking him out. Then we cut to Asta and all of them being tied up. And Nero, looking for the magic stone. Asta points Excalibur at him and tells him that if he doesn't start talking, he's going to cut his head off. The guy laughs and then, of course, bites down on which essentially is a cyanide capsule, and all of his men, including him, just straight up die. Asta helps the villagers bury all of them and bury their village chief. Of course, the village praises the magic knights, and Asta gets paid his 500 gold plus a little extra, so he has 550 gold on him. He's going to be sending half of that to Hodge Village and keeping the rest. And, well, that's where we're going to leave it off. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to all the people who like watching it, and have a nice day.